The moment supply chains broke during World War II, ordinary families faced a stark reality. No steady imports, no guaranteed markets, and no safety net. Food wasn't just expensive, it was uncertain. Yet across Britain, Europe, and parts of North America, households didn't wait for systems to recover. They adapted fast. They turned backyards, rooftops, alleyways, and even windowsills into food-producing spaces. What's remarkable isn't just that they survived, it's that many of their methods still outperform modern convenience gardening today. If you're serious about resilience, sustainability, or simply producing more food with less, these are not relics of the past. They're tested solutions. Why necessity forced families to become efficient growers overnight? Rationing wasn't just about limiting consumption, it forced production. Governments encouraged citizens to grow food, but the real ingenuity came from families themselves. They had to maximize yield in tiny spaces, deal with poor soil, and work without synthetic fertilizers or modern tools. The result was a kind of hyper-efficient gardening that prioritized calorie density, reliability, and storage life. Today, most gardeners chase aesthetics or convenience. WWII families chase survival. That shift in mindset changed everything. Crops like potatoes, cabbages, carrots, and beans weren't chosen randomly. They delivered the most nutrition per square meter and stored well through winter. If you apply this today, you stop wasting space on low-yield crops and start thinking strategically. A small plot can feed you far more than you expect if you prioritize like they did. How they turned any available space into productive land. One of the biggest lessons is that land was never an excuse. Urban families converted lawns into vegetable beds, dug up public spaces, and used containers when soil wasn't available. Raised beds weren't a trend. They were a necessity for poor or contaminated ground. You can apply this immediately. Even in a small compound or balcony, sacks, buckets, or wooden boxes can produce potatoes, spinach, or onions. WWII growers often used vertical layering before it had a name. Climbing beans grew up fences while root crops filled the ground below. That stacking of space is something most modern gardeners still underuse. So, why was soil health treated as a long-term survival asset? Well, without chemical fertilizers, the soil had to be maintained very carefully. Composting wasn't optional, it was central to the whole process. Kitchen scraps, ash, leaves, and even small amounts of manure were all recycled right back into the soil. Nothing organic was wasted, not a thing. Honestly, this is where many people fail today. They keep planting season after season without restoring nutrients, then blame poor yields. But you see, WWII families understood that soil was their lifeline. You can follow the same principle by composting your daily waste and returning it to your garden. Even a simple compost pit can, dramatically increase productivity within a single season. Now, let's talk about how crop rotation and diversity protected against total failure. Monoculture is, fragile. WWII families couldn't afford to lose all their crops, so they planted a mix of vegetables and rotated them each season. This reduced pests, maintained soil fertility, and made sure that if one crop failed, others would survive. You can replicate this by dividing your garden into sections and rotating crops like legumes, roots, and leafy greens. For example, plant beans in one section this season, then follow with cabbage or spinach. This approach keeps the soil balanced and reduces disease buildup without the need for chemicals. Why were preservation skills just as important as growing food? Well, growing food was only half the equation. Families had to make it last. Root cellars, drying, pickling and fermentation were widely used, you know. Potatoes and carrots were stored in cool, dark spaces. Cabbage became sauerkraut. Fruits were dried or turned into preserves. This is still highly practical today. If you harvest more than you can eat, storing it properly means you extend your food supply without relying on refrigeration. Even simple techniques like sun-drying vegetables or storing root crops in a shaded box can make a significant difference. Now, let's talk about how water conservation made gardens resilient under pressure. Water wasn't always reliable, so, families learned to conserve it wherever they could. Mulching with straw or leaves really helped reduce evaporation. Water was reused from household activities whenever possible. Nothing went to waste. Gardens were often designed to retain moisture rather than just lose it to the air. These days, modern gardeners often overwater or rely on a constant supply, which isn't always the best approach. You can actually adopt these methods by mulching your crops and watering deeply but less frequently. This encourages stronger root systems and honestly reduces dependency on daily watering. Right, so what made cold frames a secret weapon for year-round food production? One of the most overlooked WWII techniques is the cold frame. These simple structures, essentially low boxes with a transparent cover, allowed families to grow greens even in winter. They trapped heat, protected plants from frost, and extended the growing season dramatically. Here's how you can apply it. Build a small wooden box, place it over a bed of soil, and cover it with clear plastic or glass. Plant hardy greens like spinach or kale. Even in colder months, you'll get fresh produce when most gardens are dormant. This is honestly one of the easiest ways to produce food year-round with minimal cost. Let's look at how resourcefulness replaced dependency on tools and supplies. WWII families didn't wait for perfect conditions. Tools were improvised, seeds were saved, and knowledge was shared within communities. Seed saving, in particular, ensured continuity. Families selected the best plants, allowed them to go to seed, and used those seeds for the next season. You can start doing this today, Just let a portion of your crops mature fully and collect the seeds. Over time, you'll develop plants better adapted to your environment, and you won't need to buy seeds every season. So, why do these methods still outperform modern convenience gardening? What makes these techniques powerful isn't nostalgia, it's efficiency. They're low-cost, resilient and adaptable. In a time when food prices fluctuate and supply chains can still be disrupted, these methods offer real control. They don't rely on external inputs. They rely on knowledge, consistency, and smart use of resources. If you apply even a few of these strategies, better crop selection, composting, space maximization, and simple preservation, you'll see immediate results. This isn't just theory, it's proven under pressure. The real lesson from WWII isn't just how people survived, it's how quickly they adapted and how effective those adaptations were. That's what makes this knowledge timeless. If you want more deep dives like this into forgotten techniques that still work today, subscribe to the channel and share this with someone who takes self-reliance seriously.